Kindness is a language the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Mark Twain. Have you ever wondered if a small act, a coffee, a compliment, a door held open, could change someone's entire life? These are two stories about such moments. A simple gesture from a complete stranger that lit a spark and changed a life forever. Meet Leah, a freelance graphic designer in a city that never slows down. She had been struggling silently for months, emotionally drained, financially unstable, and losing hope one quiet day at a time. That morning, she sat on the edge of her seat, literally and figuratively, at a bus stop, clutching a brown envelope, an eviction notice. She was too proud to ask for help, too tired to keep pushing, and on this particular Tuesday, Leah had decided it would be her last job interview. If it didn't work out, she would give up. As Leah sat lost in thought, a woman named Maya, a total stranger, noticed her worn-out expression. Without a second thought, Maya walked over with 2 cups of coffee and a breakfast sandwich. "Hey, you look like you could use a warm drink." No strings attached. Just kindness. Leah hesitated, unsure how to respond. But the warmth in Maya's eyes wasn't pity. It was genuine care. That small gesture, coffee, a sandwich, and a few kind words, made Leah cry. Right there, in the middle of the city, she let it out. Not because the food was amazing, but because for the first time in a long while, she felt seen. That interview, she nailed it. Not because of her portfolio, but because she walked in with a different energy, a spark that had been reignited. In the weeks that followed, Leah got back on her feet. A few months later, she launched a small passion project, a digital art campaign called Kindness Unseen, where she illustrated real stories of random acts of kindness. But the story doesn't end there. Leah made it a point to pay it forward every week. One of her gestures? Mentoring a young artist who was also on the verge of quitting. That artist would go on to get a scholarship, all because Leah paid forward what Maya unknowingly started. Studies show that acts of kindness increase dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin levels, not just in the receiver, but also in the giver. Communities where kindness is practiced regularly report lower levels of stress, depression, and even crime. Even the smallest gesture, a compliment, a smile, a coffee, can shift the course of someone's day or their destiny. That coffee? It cost Maya $4.50. But for Leah, it was priceless. It reminded her that there is good in the world, that hope can come from a stranger, and that no act of kindness is ever wasted. Today, be someone's Maya. Offer a smile. Buy a coffee. Speak a kind word. Because what seems small to you might just change someone's life. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Aesop, our second story. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. Winnie the Pooh, or what if missing your bus was the best thing that ever happened to you? This is a story about misstep, a moment, and a man named Carlos whose life changed because a stranger chose kindness over convenience. Carlos had worked a night shift at a hospital for over a decade. He wasn't bitter. He believed in hard work. But after his wife passed away 2 years ago, things got hard. Raising a teenage daughter alone while working nights left him sleep-deprived and emotionally drained. On one particular rainy morning, he rushed to catch the 6:10 a.m. bus home, but just as he reached the stop, the bus pulled away. Standing nearby was Eli, a 28-year-old corporate analyst, fresh out of grad school and new to the city. He saw Carlos mutter something under his breath and slump onto the bench, soaked and clearly exhausted. "You all right, sir?" "Missed the bus." Carlos nodded but didn't say much. After a pause, Eli pulled out his phone, tapped a few buttons, and then said, "Hey, I called a rideshare. You can take it. It's on me." Carlos was stunned. "No, I can't let you do that." Eli smiled. "You've been working all night. Let me do something good before I sit in front of spreadsheets all day." He accepted, and as the car pulled up, Carlos turned to Eli and said, "You have no idea how much I needed this today." That morning, for the first time in a long time, Carlos had energy. He made his daughter breakfast before she left for school. He even started drawing again, a hobby he'd buried since his wife passed. That simple kindness reminded Carlos that he still mattered, that people noticed. Inspired by Eli, Carlos began going out his way to help others at the hospital. Patients began calling him Mr. Sunshine. Months later, on a whim, Carlos entered an amateur art contest sponsored by the hospital's wellness program. He won. His artwork, a depiction of a rain-soaked bench with a smiling man offering a ride, was titled, "The Kindness Stop." Did you know that people who witness an act of kindness are more likely to perform one themselves within 24 hours? Kindness is literally contagious. It boosts mood, reduces anxiety, and creates bonds between strangers. The ride Eli gave that morning, it didn't just get Carlos home. It helped bring a father back to his daughter, an artist back to his passion, and kindness back into a hospital. Carlos never saw Eli again, but every morning, dozens of people pass by that painting in the hospital and pause. Sometimes they smile. Sometimes they help someone. And every now and then, someone misses a bus, but leaves with something far greater. You never know who's sitting in the rain today. Be someone's umbrella. Give. Smile. Listen. Kindness travels farther than you think. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. Jennifer Dukes Lee. Subscribe for more. Love aways.